Okay, welcome to Bitrix24 Live. I'm Damien Edwards, Commercial Manager of Bitrix24 Partners Interface. We are based in the UK and we have offices in the US and the UAE. And we are able to provide pre-sale support, including demo and discussion about your requirements, full implementation service, including customization and training, and we provide support as well, a telephone support service. With me, I've got our support manager, Andy Naylor.
Hi there. Yeah, so we are here for the next hour. We're here till 11 AM Eastern Time. We're here every Thursday. If you do have any questions, just do please put them in the box provided on YouTube. And we can answer them on the screen here and show you how to do particular things that you need to do. So we do have a cloud version of Bitrix available to show you on, or if you have any questions about the on-premise version, we have those too. So I think we should.
We've got a question here. It's coming in the week regarding business processes and nested workflows. I figured the parameters from the original workflow, the one being nested, will be brought into the main business process, and it appears that that's not the case, or they can't work out how to do that. So should we have a quick look at what a nested process is, and if you can indeed transfer the parameters over? We're not sure if you can do it or not.
Yeah,
it might be that you actually can't do that.
Yeah, so let's have a look. If we go into our CRM, and then let's have a look at our CRM settings, and then automation and business processes. So let's do it in a company for an example. So the reason why you would have nested workflows, just to explain the reason why you would, let's just click off here and add a new template. So when a business process is triggered inside Bitrix, it essentially takes a snapshot of what that business process looks like at that given time. So if your process is very long and could take a number of weeks or days or months to complete from start to the bottom, then it's going to look exactly the same in the third week as it did the first day it was triggered. So that means that you can't make any changes to that business process until it's finished, and then it gets triggered again. So the reason why you would have a nested workflow is because it will take a snapshot of the primary business process that you're running that's been triggered, but it won't look at that nested workflow until it reaches it in the business process. So if we call this in case parameters, parent, let's call this parent business process. And then if we just add, let's just add a parameter in here. So let's just say name, and we'll give it a name. So that's we'll call this the parent process, and we'll just save this. Then we'll come out of here, and then we'll create the nested process. So if we come into here, and we'll call this nested process. So this is the sub workflow, essentially, is what we're going to create. And we're going to have a parameter in here, and we'll call this, let's just call this phone. Okay, so those are your two workflows that we're going to be using. So what I'm going to do now is go into the parent business process, and what you need to look at here is you need to look at this action here, run workflow. So essentially what's going to happen, the business process is going to be triggered. It'll start at the start point and then automatically trigger this workflow. So if we click into this gear icon, and we're in a company, so if we just select ID and then company, and then company, and then we should be able to see the one that I've just created called nested process. And because I created a parameter of phone in that nested process, it should ask me what I want to pass from this process into the nested process. So if I click here, and then what we could do is find phone. So work phone. And that so it's essentially going to trigger this workflow, pass the phone into the nested. So we'll say run workflow, click on save. And then if we go back to our nested process here, and the question was, how do we pass information back from the nested process into the parent process, essentially? So we would, I'm trying to think how it would work. Let's have a look. Can we have... I'm trying to think.
Post it into an email or something. Or...
I mean, you could post it into an email. I'm just trying to think how you would update the original parameters of the parent one.
Add it to a task or something. But...
Yeah. I think what I'm trying to think if you couldn't do, you couldn't run workflow. I'm not 100% sure.
Come back to it.
Yeah, I think what you would need, because you've got this parameter here, phone, and that's been updated. But if you wanted to update, I suppose what you would do in this workflow, you would update maybe a field in the company, and you would just use the modify element to update the field in the company. To pass something back, depends what you're wanting to pass back into the parent process, because ideally what you would do, I think, is you would update maybe a custom field in the company. So if I wanted to update, I don't know, booking type, for example, to same day, and then what that would do is once this is finished, it would then end and it would go back to the parent process, and the parent process would have the ability to pull in that booking type field from the company, because it would be already updated. So suppose passing items back from the sub workflow and the nested workflow, you are going to have to update maybe a custom field so the parent workflow can grab that information.
So let's find out. Let's ask a developer, and if we can get answers by the end, we'll do it. If not, we'll do it again. Do a bit more in it next week. If not, by the end of today.
But I think it is quite important, just for those of you who don't know, just with regards to the nested workflows, is essentially because the purpose of it is because it takes a snapshot, and if your process is huge, you don't have the ability to edit that snapshot whilst it's in the process.
Yeah, that means that any parameters that are populated won't change. It won't change at all. It can't change at all if anything else changes.
Yeah, so we have a lot of clients that have many run workflow points to their process, because we have some clients that have huge processes, and like I say, it may take a year. So if it hits the final run workflow element in a year's time, then it's going to...
So an example would be a date field, maybe, where you're pulling in a field which is a date from say a CRM record or something. It will pull that, am I right to say, it'll pull that date field into the process. It'll then use that date field as part of the process. But if someone on the CRM record changed that date field, it wouldn't reflect the new date. So even if they've changed the date field before that date is used as part of the process, it will still use the old date because it's populated it at the beginning as you've triggered it. So so that's quite important to be aware of, I guess, when you're building those. Okay, how will my website look to my extranet users? So look on. If you go onto the cloud, then it can look slightly different on the self-hosted. But if I go to the cloud and click into extranet, it essentially looks the same. This has got a different theme in the background, but again, you can change the theme. But it looks the same. You're not going to have. Let's just click back. Oops, let's just click back. Let's just click forward and go to in a new tab. So on the intranet, the main site, you've got a lot of widgets down here that refer to things like tasks and workflows and birthdays. You've got a lot of menu items generally over here. If you go to the extranet, then you're not going to have the widgets relating to tasks and things on the right hand side. Generally going to have less menu items. The extranet users are not going to see all your CRM and HR links on the left. They will see all the groups down the left hand side here that they belong to, all the project groups. And then if you've created any other custom links or tasks, they'll see links to tasks. I think they see links to a drive as well. So they see, it looks essentially the same, but they see a lot less information. So that's it really. I mean, the design at the top's changed slightly recently. Bitrix has changed this for some reason with the clock on the left. But that's it. They'll see it look the same. If they're an extranet user, they will automatically be redirected to this extranet site. They're never going to access your site. If you have a self-hosted instance, then it's a little bit different. Because you can customize it. So if we go to extranet down here, then you can, again, you're going to have less menu items, but you can add different things to this on the self-hosted. We've added some custom banners over here. With a self-hosted instance, you get this admin bar across the top, only available to administrators, but this allows you to edit pages and sections and access this control panel area that allows you to configure how the site works. But I can go into edit mode on any page, and this will allow me to add elements to the page or modify those elements. So if I've gone into this support banner, I can define where that's going to link to. I can put in the where's the image. Oh, this is it. This is the image. It's not showing me a preview, but you can add the graphic in there. So you can, as an extranet, for extranet users, if you have self-hosted, you can customize it more. So you can start to add some calls to action on the right hand side. You can also do a bit more with customizing the left menu to make the terms. I think that's quite key. You can make the terminology different. So where it says work groups here, you could call that projects or something different, or my groups or your groups or something. So you can change those descriptions. You potentially can also hide quite a lot of other stuff as well. So if when I land on the home page, I don't want polls or events or something up here, it's possible to sort of remove those at the code level, to remove those items to make it. I think with extranet users, you don't want to give them too many opportunities to click around areas of the system, particularly if it's not relevant to what they're doing, they're going to get lost. So yeah, it looks the same, but it essentially looks the same, but with self-hosted you can edit that yourself. Is there a limit to how many extranet users I can have? So provided you have a package, I think any commercial cloud package, then you have an unlimited number of extranet users. Not on the free cloud, you don't get any. On the self-hosted, provided you have a business 50, you get unlimited number of extranet users. The base self-hosted package, the CRM package, doesn't have extranet access at all. Can users of workgroups receive email notifications? So I assume your question is about whether a extranet user who's in their own workgroup will receive notifications. Well, they receive notifications in the same way. Inside the extranet, they'll see them in the notification center up here in exactly the same way. If you've enabled it so that they get email notifications, they'll receive those as well. They have access to the mobile app if they want to download that in the same way. That's free to use for main users and extranet users, so they'll receive notifications on there as well. So I think it's really good. You know, we get involved in quite a lot of good big projects around the extranet where people want portals for suppliers and customers and things. We've done a big portal recently for large infrastructure project in the UK where they're using the extranet in order to invite their suppliers in to bid on projects and then to collaborate with that supplier on the project once it's been awarded. So really good, especially, and it's particularly good on the self-hosted, I think, the extranet, because of the branding. You can remove Bitrix login page, have your own login page, host it on your own domain. So when you're inviting third parties in, that can be quite important, I think. Should we just put our contact details up? Want to find out more about extranets and in touch?
Okay, so I've got a question that came through in the week, and it was just talking about how can you put in tasks. The question was with regards to each user in Bitrix has their own planner. So you can see here we have a planner and we're currently sat in it. And this is unique. So we've got all these statuses, and these statuses have been made by this particular user. So it's good to customize for each individual. And one of the question basically came is, how can I move my tasks automatically once they go past the deadline into a column that says overdue tasks. So if I was to add here and just click into overdue tasks, so I've now got a new status here in my planner, and we'll colour this, we'll probably colour it magenta. So you can see here overdue tasks. Now what Bitrix also has is the ability to add automation rules into your own planner. So these are your own personal automation rules for your planner. And what we can do is, if we wanted to, let's just say for example we have tasks in today's tasks, or I think they had an actual status working on, but what we could do is we could add a rule, so we can for employee, and we could change the stage, so stage here, and we wanted to move it into overdue, and essentially you could put this in each one, so, and that's what you would have to do really, rather than put it into the overdue one. And what we can do is in run immediately, instead of having it run immediately, we can have exact time. And then if we change this start date to either the end date or the deadline, which is probably the most useful one. So what that means is, as soon as that task that's in that particular stage, so if I just select this now, and so click into here. So what we're going to do is, once the task is in this stage, and as soon as the task hits the deadline, it's automatically going to change the stage of that task and move it into your overdue tasks column. So if we save it like that, and again you'd probably need it in each of the columns, so you know that it will move it. And like I say, once this hits the deadline, it will automatically move to that. So it's quite clear then in your own planner which tasks have currently passed their own deadline. You don't need to filter or anything like that. They will automatically switch to that particular stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, did we mention that you could look at that as a filter up here? Yeah, you could do that as well, couldn't you, the date? Mm-hmm. But yeah, if you want to be able to see them, if you want to see all your tasks on one page, the live ones, the pending ones, the in progress ones, and the overdue ones, that's the way.
Yeah, I think now that this planner has come in and it is being heavily used by a lot of our customers, it is essentially the place where you come to now and quite clearly see which tasks are pending for you to work on, which ones that you're working on. They replace the sort of tick list, don't they, I suppose. I need to get this done today. Mm-hmm. Instead of having a tick list on your desk, you can simply just have a list of all the tasks that you need to do for today. Yeah. And what we can do as well,
can't bin them, can we? Like,
no, what
the CRM.
But what I would probably recommend as well is, if we have a completed column, what we could actually do is not not delete. So we would probably change the status. So we would change the status to completed. So again, what that would mean is, because each task has its own status as well, so it automatically, when you start working on it, it goes into in progress. It starts off in pending, and if you complete a task, then it can also don't delete tasks.
So we just see if I can then move the task into completed, it should delete the task for me as well. So we can do that like that. I don't know if it just needs refreshing.
I think it's, yeah, but I think I don't think you would ever have to delete tasks, because you don't want to delete. What it should do, even change status completed, because you've got the filter in progress anyway. So if we just move this. So if we move it into completed, I think if you refresh that anyway, yeah, it would still disappear, but it just wouldn't delete it.
Oh, right, because it's not in progress. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and that will always stay in your system. So if you were to then click off here, you'd be able to see the one that's just marked as completed. Yeah. Rather than aggressively deleting it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I want a sales target for a particular length of time. How do I do that? So if we go into, let's go into this site. Let's go into. Oh no, let's stay in. Oh no, let's go here.
There's an internet here. Internet at the bottom here.
Okay. So if we go into our CRM, then if we go into start. We should probably touch on sales intelligence. I don't think we've got it on here. Maybe have a look on the other one. But you can add sales targets. So it's fairly straightforward button here. Configure sales targets, and you want to add them for a particular time period. So the time period you've got available are month, quarter, half year, and year. So yeah, if you wanted to do anything outside of those, then it's not standard. If you had a self-hosted, you could create a different time period here. You could add that in, but you can measure by total sales the number of deals, and then just add the value in here. Add another user in here if you want to add extra people. So that's it. You'll see them as deals close. You'll see them progress towards their sales target over here. But yeah, it doesn't look like you can do it by a particular length unless one of those standard 4 time periods. Most businesses work on month or quarter, I think, so suitable for most businesses.
Yeah, because I was just looking at the new, because as you mentioned, the sales intelligence is just coming, hasn't it, into Bitrix, and I was just seeing if you can see if it was in. Oh yeah, see it. There.
Oh right, yeah.
So again, this is in beta at the moment, but it allows you essentially to work out where your sales are coming from. So you can put a value against the money that you spend on Google Ads, Facebook advertising, Instagram. So you can see the 3 traffic sources here. And you can also see what's working for you inside Bitrix as well. So many times on these live sessions, we've covered the ability to build Bitrix sites for integrating live chat, website widgets, website forms. You can really start putting a value associated to the sale that's been generated against how it's been created. So the actual source of the lead maybe, and the amount of money that if you spend $1,000 on an ad campaign for a given week in Google Ads, you can actually see the value associated to that amount of spend. So you can really see a return on investment and see if it's performing very well on here.
Yeah, you set it up in Bitrix and then you also set it up in Facebook or the other platform. How about setting times in workflows? It's easy to set a specific date it is easy to set a specific date, but is there a way to set a time or date in the future, X amount of days after a given date?
So what
You can do that, can't you?
Yeah, what I tend to do, and it's a bit of a cheat way of doing it, is if you were to go into the automation rules and actually look in an automation rule, and let's just say that we wanted to, I think if we look at task and say it set a deadline in, I think if we set a deadline in, let's just say 5 days after the current time. So if you click on select on there, this is the tool, this is the little piece of code that you get. So you can see here, that is essentially what you would put in. So if you wanted to set a deadline in the future, that's as simple as 5 days. If you wanted to set it to 10 days, you could set it to 10 days. Take a copy of that, so just copy them, and then put it into your business process in a deadline page, because this shows you on an easy touch of how to do it. So you can, like I say, you can set any criteria in here, take a copy of it and put it into your business process editor in a date field, and you will get exactly what you need for that. So you could wait, couldn't you? You could have a wait. Mind you, have wait periods anyway, don't you?
Yeah. Okay. Can I get Bitrix on my own domain, own URL? You can. Yeah, do you need to set that up in the self-hosted? I can't remember.
No.
With it. Sorry, in the cloud. I can't remember exactly. Is this
Setting your own URL.
Is it in settings? Or?
Yeah. So if you wanted to set your own URL, if you haven't already, then if you scroll down, you should have. I think it will usually say here. You can only do it once though. So you could only change your URL once. So make sure that you get it right the first time. Yeah, and that's only you would do it in here.
Yeah, if you're on the self-hosted, then you need to host on a URL anyway. I mean, you can host on an IP address, but you need to really appoint a URL to it for some of the services to work. You can't do there's some features that won't work if you haven't got a URL. I think chat, is it? Push and pull and chat and things like that don't work if you haven't got a URL. So because you need to have a SSL certificate enabled. You can't enable an SSL on an IP address. So yeah, on the self-hosted, it's automatically done. Essentially, you need to do it on the cloud. You set it up in here.
So I've been wondering if it's possible to pull through info from Bitrix, e.g. lists or knowledge base, onto a site's website. So with sites, we're referring to, for those of you who don't know, Bitrix has the ability to create your own public website. So you can see here. But going to the question, I don't think you can actually pull information. The only way to do it would be through a CRM form, wouldn't it? I think you want
to do it the other way. So maybe you've added something into a list.
Yeah, and you want to publish it.
That content.
It's a good question.
Table or something. I guess it's not available as standard. You'd be able to do it. We'd be able to do it for you, custom. But
would you?
Well,
I'm not sure how you would be able to do it, because if you just have a look at what they've got, if it may have been included. Let me just add a block and see in here. Yeah, I don't think there's any integration with, like you say, the lists. Is the only integration you've got is with the CRM forms, the CRM widgets, the website widgets, and things like that. You don't have actually access to the lists module. It could be a feature. Like I say, we can request features to be introduced to these in from Bitrix, so we can have a look at that.
Okay, I've got a question about integration with MailChimp. Is there somewhere I can integrate that? You can integrate it, yeah. So I mean, you've got the option to integrate it, but you've got the option to use Bitrix bulk mail provider anyway. If you want to use MailChimp, if you go to applications here, then there is a mail application. Let's have a look. That to work.
MailChimp is here.
So there. Okay. So there is a standard tool that allows you to do that integration. It will bring back some information from MailChimp to your CRM. Don't know how much it does, but also if you want to do, if you want to do this, if you don't need to use MailChimp anymore. If you want to do this in Bitrix, then you can create your campaigns in Bitrix, build your lists, and design your emails as well, exactly as you can do in MailChimp. It's built into most accounts, so you don't need to pay $100 a month to MailChimp. Here's the tool that allows you to create your designs, very similar to what you have in MailChimp. You can bring in individual components and edit each individual section of the email. Now format to, if we can preview these on a tablet or something, don't know if we can do that on here.
Preview.
Oh yes. So you get it. Obviously, you want to know it works on a phone, a tablet, and a desktop. So
I think one question I got last night with regards to this was how many emails do you actually get? How many, the ability to send on the packages, and with the paid package, I think they start at is it the CRM Plus it starts at? I think it's around about 35,000 emails. 35,000 emails, and then it goes to 50, and then you've got, on the professional, you've got 1 million emails that you can send out of Bitrix. And then obviously with the on-premise, you've got an unlimited amount of emails that you can send. So it definitely is, once you start using it, it's definitely a more powerful aspect and cheaper alternative to using something as MailChimp.
Yeah. What is the main work of CRM? Do I need it for YouTube? Not sure I understand the question. CRM is a database for managing your customers, suppliers and other partners, and a whole load of ways that you can add activity, book future activity and record past activity in there, and create automation as well. Do you need it for YouTube? I don't know, depends what you're doing on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, there's no integration between the CRM and YouTube. So, like Damien said, CRM is a way of getting your inquiries in, processing them, qualifying them, and generating a sale and recording that sale in there for reporting purposes. And Bitrix does connect to many social networks. It connects to Facebook, we've gone through the advertising, Google AdWords, so you can really see the return on your investment in those kind of ads with the sales generated inside Bitrix. So
put our contact details up there. If you've got any questions, post them in the chat window or email them to us. Okay, I can see on the Bitrix website, Bitrix has some automated workflows, but I cannot see them on my system. Why not? That would be because of the package you're on, I think. So if you're on one of the free packages, then you won't get workflows included. I think pretty much you get a lot. Let's have a look. So look at what you get. If you go to bitrix24.com, and if you go to pricing, then, by the way, 35% off today and tomorrow. If you go to pricing, look at the packages. So this is the free package. These are the commercial packages here, and this is what you get. So marketing automation, you get partial marketing automation on the free package.
But that was CRM marketing, wouldn't it?
Chart. There we go. So we can go down here and see, but there's quite a lot again that you get on. You don't get on the free package. We went to the workflows, activity stream workflows, business processors. You don't get those on the free. Don't get them on this basic plus package. You have to get the standard or the or the professional packages to receive, have the option to use those tools.
So, got a question from Warwick. Another science-related question. If I had a very long pick list field on a CRM form, could it be searchable by the lead so they can find values easily? So they don't actually have, do they? The form field, I think I know what you're referring to. If I was to type in and search in a form field, would it pick up a value so it's like an autocomplete pick list? You would have to have the Bitrix don't have that on their forms at the moment. It would have to be a drop down. If the person started typing, I think it would go to the point of a drop down, wouldn't it? But there's no autocomplete if you've got a very long list.
No,
it would be a large drop down.
Not, no. Can you discuss more about necessity of CRM? Well, that depends on what your business does, really, I would say, whether it's necessary or not. I would just suggest that you go to Bitrix24.com and create a free account, and then have a look around in the CRM, see whether it's it's necessary for your business. I think if you're storing, if you've only got a handful of customers, then it's probably not necessary to have a CRM. That said, the basic CRM Bitrix is free, so there's no reason why not. I guess it becomes necessary when you've got more customers than you can keep in your head at one time. So and at that point, so really that's most businesses at that point. Then I would see there's some value in having a CRM. Just think about it as a database of your customers, contact list of your customers. It's basic.
Yeah, I personally think the value of what the CRM brings is the tools that Bitrix give you to generate those inquiries. Mm-hmm. So they're free tools, there's live chat, there's CRM forms, and as soon as one of those has been submitted, it generates your lead. And that's your starting point of any inquiry, really. If you are selling a product or a service, essentially, that if somebody wants to subscribe to, I don't know, if your subscription model, if you're selling, you can get your inquiries through into your leads and generate them that method. Yeah. I think that's really getting them into the system. Very simple, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're marketing to people, then you need a CRM. If you're not proactive in how you work, maybe you don't need to be proactive in your business, and you do certain activities, and people buy off you when they need to buy off you. But if you don't proactively contact people or need to store records on those people, then maybe if you're a shop and you don't store the details of the people who walk through the door, then you don't need a CRM because there's nothing to put in there. But most businesses do.
I'd probably recommend if you go on to the Intraface YouTube channel, I'd probably recommend having a look at our CRM webinar. It's recorded on there. It's one of the latest versions of it as well. So I'd go on to our Intraface YouTube channel and have a look at the CRM webinar.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't think we've got any more questions, but try and post some questions if you can think of any. Let's see if any other ones come in on email. Is there a limit to how many items I can add to my activity stream? Well, no, I don't think there's any limit at all. If you're talking about the home page here, which is an activity stream, shows you the activities from people in your team, then there's no limit to that. That will just, it cuts off if you go to the bottom. You can load more, click on that, but there's no limit. It won't fill up or anything, and you can post from that stream. You can post. We don't look at this very much, but you can say, welcome to all employees. I can share a file, or I can even mention somebody. Let's say welcome to this person. We might want to record a video as well. Don't think we have access to a camera. let's not do that right now, but you can record a video, share videos and things like that. So there's no restriction on what you can do in the activity stream. I think businesses use this type of communication internally more than or as much as email. Does allow you to, when you see a post like this, everybody in the business can see it and they can add their comments into that, and allows everyone to see their comments clearly in a stream like that. I can like it. I can do one of these things. Not coming up now. I can do one of these. So yeah, you can, and then you can see who's viewed, who's commented. But yeah, you'll all be familiar with that.
So we've got a question here. How does it work on the Facebook page? So Bitrix integrates with Facebook in a couple of different ways. So if you click into the contact center here, these are all the methods how you can integrate with Facebook. So you have Facebook itself, comments, and lead ads. So if you want so Facebook first of all integrates with your business Facebook page by, if somebody was to submit a message, so a private message on your Facebook page, it would automatically come through once you've connected it up through the open channel widget, and you can have a one-to-one conversation with somebody directly on Facebook. So you would never have to leave Bitrix to discuss. You wouldn't have to go directly to Facebook. You can just do it through your messenger tool here. So pretty much like if I was to find a user, so you can see here James Bell is actually an inquiry from Facebook. You can see here I can click on reply, and then you can see here it's just going to be a one-to-one conversation. It's not configured at the moment, but James would then get his reply on Facebook, and because Facebook business pages now, don't they monitor how quick you are at responding. So when you go on a Facebook business page, it says very responsive, usually reply within the hour. This integration will heighten that, because you will never miss a Facebook message, because you don't have to be on directly logged into Facebook or have notifications. I think that's
social media platforms look at the quality, don't they? They give sort of a quality score, don't they? If your interaction is good, they'll potentially promote you more. So.
And then there's this one here, which is fairly new, but what Bitrix allows you to do, again, create a CRM form, so to generate those leads. And now the integration between Facebook and Bitrix, it allows you to put that CRM form directly in a Facebook advertising. So once somebody submits that form, it's going to generate a lead inside Bitrix. So that's a really powerful tool, and it's quite new, isn't it, on the side of Bitrix. So
yeah, hopefully we'll get LinkedIn and other platforms as well.
I think a big one we want is WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Hi Henry, have you got a question? Waiting for a question to come through. No. Put our contact details up. If you have specific requirements you want us to demo, then get in touch and we can set up those for you and show you how that would work inside Bitrix and what costs might be involved to get that working for your business. So get in touch with us at sales@intraface.com or one of those telephone numbers there. Depending on where you are, if you're in the US or Middle East region, then contact us on that telephone number there. Oops. Okay, I don't think we've got any more questions. Doesn't look like we've got any more. Probably wrap it up. And if you subscribe to us and Bitrix24, so Intraface and Bitrix24 on YouTube, then you will receive a notification when we are having a live question session. And if you go to intraface.com/webinars, or you go to the homepage of Bitrix24, you can register for webinars there as well.
So I've got a question there. If you face any problems, how do you connect with us for a quick response?
Go to our phone up our Dubai office here, and we'll get a you know, if you've got a question, phone them, and that's it. But if you want to connect to us, we connect by screen share or something, but we're local to you in Asia, so or in the Middle East. So depending on where you are in Asia, I guess we're a couple of hours out there, but we cover that region. Certainly cover your time zone. So we will be available up to 5 p.m. in most Asian time zones. Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you on Monday for the webinar.